Well, in our last episode, The Don, Dr. Z, we'd like to ask Knuckles the cause of his death. It's a myth that it was politically motivated. Tell us, Knuckles, can you clarify any of this? Well, I remember that every day we'd go to the port to get the tomatoes. Tomatoes from Palermo, you understand? We imported them. That was our business. Wait a second, I'm terribly sorry, but I thought you were into drugs, Knuckles. Well, yes, the mafioso was into drugs, but not us. We liked the tomatoes because it was all about the sandwich, and the good tomato is very important to the sandwich, you understand? Tomatoes from Palermo, specifically, you understand? We had all the ports covered, the East Coast. Anyway, we go one day to the port in New York, and the container doesn't show up. He gets furious on Dr. Z. They took the container down to Miami, you understand? Miami? Oh dear, it's a long way to go for tomatoes. Yes, but we drive it down to Miami to get the tomatoes from Palermo. Well, you must have really hated that drive, and yes, it was a longer drive, but I drove because Don Dr. Zia drove like an older lady. It was painful, I can tell you that. Anyway, one day he turns to me on the drive and he says to me, Andy, pardon me, isn't your name Knuckles? Well, I was born with an extra knuckle under my left hand, you understand, and the nickname is stuck to be called Knuckles, but he called me Andy. It was very nice of him to do that. Anyway, yes, on with the story. So he turned to me one day, driving down to Miami, and he says to me, Andy, if somebody calls me and says, I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils, he's going to kill himself. He didn't understand that the philosophy, evil is evil. If it's a democracy, he would say, vote for somebody that matches your values, you understand? Yes, I understand. So he killed himself. Somebody once said to him that they're going to vote for the lesser of two evils. Not exactly, I can tell you. But anyway, we drive all the way down to Miami. Oh, yes, well, he must have really enjoyed that Cuban sandwich, world famous. Not exactly. He thought it was a rubbish. The Cuban sandwich, he said, is an insult to a sandwich. He got very heated over that. His stomach was very queasy, and oh dear, he didn't kill anybody over that Cuban sandwich, did he, Knuckles? No, he didn't have the time, you understand. We had to get the tomatoes from Palermo. The tomatoes, it's all about the tomatoes, you understand. Yes, anyway, please, go on. So, we're at the port getting the tomatoes, and he liked to inspect the tomatoes. He could smell the tomatoes, you understand. Palermo tomatoes smell very good, very delicious, you understand. And so, all of a sudden, he's under the crate coming out of the container, and the forklift driver loses control, and the crate comes crashing down on top of the Don Dr. Z. Oh, dear! So he was crushed like a pretzel. Yes, he was squashed like a marshmallow. Oh dear, so he died that way. How poetic. Not exactly. He survived, and in the hospital, they realized they got the food poisoning from the Cuban sandwich. He died from the Cuban sandwich. Oh dear. Well, what a story. Well, I guess what goes around comes around. Isn't that right, Knuckles? Yes, the fucking Cuban sandwich. Yeah, well, thank you, Knuckles. Have a lovely day. No problem.